Hey friends, this is Miss Stapp here, and I'm excited to tell you that it is an asynchronous day. We have a formative that is due, but it should be pretty quick, and then you'll be able to spend the rest of the time working on your product. In fact, that's really what C2 and C3 is. So beyond kind of covering what we think our ATL and our technical skills are that we're going to need, you're going to just be working on your product and also documenting your work on your product. I would like to quickly go over what our objectives are going to be for the day, and then we will start right in. So today I'm going to review that final product and expectations. I'm going to show you the upcoming timeline. We're going to work on an ATL and critical technical skills table. Let me add that here. Technical skills table. We're going to work on 5 detailed procedural steps. Now, hopefully you've already done at least 2. You have a plan ready. You've worked on a couple procedural steps. By your summative, you're going to have at least 5 detailed steps for me. So today is probably the day you work on that because it is best to do them now where you're just starting the project, and you can work a little bit and understand what that step is going to be, and then you can write the step. Do it now rather than later. It's going to be really hard by the summative to go back and try to remember what you had to do. And the last thing is you're going to document your product development. I'll talk about that more in a second. So let's get right into what the expectations are. So you are creating blueprints that include a floor plan and an elevation. Now remember, your floor plan is from the top. You just have to give me one floor. Your elevation is a side. I've reduced this down quite a bit from my original idea where I thought we would do tons, but we're learning some new software and potentially we're drawing it, and it's going to take us a little time. So one floor plan and one elevation. All right. Your floor plan should include, in order to get full credit for this, your exterior walls, your interior walls that designate rooms, draw windows and doors, label your rooms. It should have any sustainable features that are evident on the interior that you plan to put on the interior and potentially on the exterior. Not on the roof, but I'll show you my example a little bit where I did a water filtration system just outside the house. And then dimensions. It also should have one elevation. This can be any side of the house. If you have time, go ahead and do the front. The front of our house usually shows the most information. Your elevation should also have dimensions. It should have a window and door outlined, detailed the exterior finishing, and oh, I put dimensions twice. It was so important. There we go. All right. So now, what I would like to talk to you about is what we're doing today. And let's go back up to C and look at that. So C2 says demonstrate excellent technical skills when making the solution. Then C3 is follow the plan to create the solution. All right, that's what we're doing today. So you have a lot of work time to work on your skills and to create this floor plan and elevation. Now, the other thing I'd like you to understand is IB really likes you to also consider those ATLs as part of your technical skills. So go ahead and look at my ATL sheet with reminders, and you're going to choose one ATL, not the same one I chose. I'm going to tell you what I chose right away. I chose communication, give and receive meaningful feedback. You're going to choose one of the others that you think you are going to need for successful completion of these plans and elevation. Okay, just look through here. Self-management is good. Social skills, maybe communication skills, maybe thinking, critical thinking, or other thinking skills over here. So you're going to choose one. Okay? And then I have a table for you. This same table is going to be in your formative, and you can just fill it in. Okay? So it says create a table that lists the ATL by category and words that appear after the bullet. So I chose communication, and after the bullet, it says give and receive meaningful feedback. That's the one I think I'm really going to use or really need to refine in order to successfully complete this product to the highest quality. So I wrote that here, communication, give and receive meaningful feedback. And then there should be an explanation of how this ATL helps you create the product solution. So I wrote, I need to use effective communication in order to request feedback so that I am sure I understand this assignment correctly. And then I'm going to use that feedback that I receive to make sure I create the highest quality product. Okay. So I've demonstrated, let's see, 0 would be the low end of this. If I don't communicate with my teacher or peer um, about this assignment, then I would give myself a 0. The criteria needed to get that minimal ATL demonstrated, I feel should be I requested verbal feedback from a peer. Because for me, it's a lot easier to talk to my peers than my teacher. So that's kind of minimal. I think to satisfactorily show that I have done or fulfilled this ATL, I'm going to request verbal feedback from a peer and use that feedback in my solution development. For competent demonstration of this ATL, I think I will request verbal feedback from my teacher, which is much harder for me to do. I'm a little intimidated by my teacher, so that'll be tough. And then if I want to really challenge myself, and that's what you're looking for here, it's not an ATL that you already have, it's something that you think you will need to acquire. And that's a technical skill you're showing in order to satisfactorily create the highest quality solution. What are those ATLs that I might need and that are challenging for me? So, requesting verbal feedback from the teacher, using that feedback, and then checking again. And remember, she intimidates me. Checking with her again to make sure that feedback was correctly incorporated as she thought it should be. That to me is going to really push me, and that will be the highest demonstration of that ATL. So I would like you to set up that table kind of like I did. You have to use another ATL than the one that I use. So there's a lot to choose from. Go ahead and look and create that little rubric so that you can, in the end, articulate why it was that you demonstrated that ATL to an excellent rigor. Okay, we're going to do that one more time, but not with ATLs. This time it's other technical skills. So I would like to tell you, one of your fellow students told me to use floorplanner.com. If I didn't tell this class, that is amazing and a really easy way to create floor plans. It's free. It's online software. You can go and start using it right away to create a nice set of floor plans. Make sure that you save it on something. I don't want you to lose your work. So if you open an account, make sure that it saves your work there, or you can save it to your desktop so you have it. Okay. So now you're brainstorming technical skills that you will need outside of those ATLs. And I said that I'm going to use Floor Planner. And just learning to use this new software, that is an excellent technical skill. But I still have to be able to articulate what the difference between using it at kind of a low level and a high level would look like. So I created these criteria. Again, no skill demonstrated, which be I just didn't do it at all. I didn't submit it. And then a minimal skill, I would make a floor plan using floorplanner.com, but it doesn't have anything. It doesn't have windows or doors. And to me, that would be a very low demonstration of achievement with this new software. On the higher end, I would say for excellent skill demonstrated that I have a floor plan and it includes everything Ms. Stapp asked for, the exterior, interior walls. I labeled the rooms right there on floor planner. There's doors, windows. I even put my attached water collection system that's going to be attached to my side of the house, and all of that is labeled. Okay. Now, how will you test? I put this on your table. How will you test if this skill is actually demonstrated? This is important for you to think about. I will be able to show that I've demonstrated all these skills if everything is just like I said it would be on the final product of the floor plans. If everything I listed, the exterior, interior walls, all of that is present and able for my teacher to easily view. I'm also going to document the progress of this skill by taking screenshots. It's software, so I'm just going to take screenshots as I go along, and I'm going to annotate them to show my development of this skill as well. Okay. I've decided beyond floorplanner.com to use SketchUp for my elevation, just because I think it would be fun. It's another technical skill that I can demonstrate. And so I do the same thing with that. I would go through. If you're using Floor Planner, you still have to come up with another technical skill. What else are you learning that is a little difficult for you? You have to be able to articulate that. And this can be anything. You're learning how to, if you're drawing, how you to do those dimensions and how to describe in your procedural list how you would relate those dimensions. Okay. So it might take a little bit of thinking, but come up with at least 2 skills that you're going to demonstrate from beginning to end in this project. 2 technical skills. All right. Step 3, you have to document your work as you go along. This is an important part at this level of what you do. So document your work with screenshots intermittently as you're progressing through things. Maybe it's photos if you're drawing, and photos are just fine. Okay. Now, you remember you have to do 5 procedural steps. So I would tell you, and some my kids got kind of excited about floor planner and they went ahead and did all the floor plan, but then you can't go back. It's hard to remember what your steps are. So what I would do if I were you, if I'm using some kind of software, oh, it's so exciting and you definitely need to learn how to do it in order to create these steps. I understand. But I would do a little bit, like I would put down those exterior walls and then go over here to my steps and then how did I do that? Right, how I did it. Then I'd put in the windows and I'd go over to my step 2 or 3 or 10 and I'd put in how I laid those windows and what the dimensions were and so forth. Okay. You need a total of 5 steps. That doesn't mean you're going to get through everything in 5 steps, but you have to at least show me that you can do this skill with 5 detailed steps. If your first step is not detailed, it says put the paper down. That is not a detailed step. So at least 5 of your steps need to be detailed. And these will come up as a slide in your video showing how detailed procedural plans look with effective use of materials and tools and effective recording and use of your time. Okay. After you've finished with your detailed procedural steps, the last thing you're going to do is on the bottom of your page, and we'll go to that in just a minute, you are going to put all of your pictures and you're going to annotate, put notes about what it is that you're showing on each of those snapshots or each of those screenshots. All right. So let me show you what it's going to look like in your homework under your formative C2 and C3. Here you've got that blank table that you're going to fill out. You've got another table here. This will be your technical skill table. Okay, I'm going to say, please document your work somehow and place it here. Okay, after you put in those screenshots or photos, you must annotate them with the description of the work that you have done. Okay, and I have a checklist down at the bottom that lists all that again. So please go through and read that lesson again. If you're unsure of anything, all of the information should be there. Then you go to your formative under your personal tab and pull up C2 and C3. Okay, this has to be done by 11:55 tonight. You do not have to have all 5 procedural steps tonight, but you do have to have these tables filled in and some snapshots of your work with annotations. Again, you do not have to have all 5 procedural steps done tonight, your tables, your photos of the work you did today with annotations of what those photos are. Okay.